Well, golly. Honey, have you heard the news? Experts recommend cereal for dinner. Heavens to Betsy, have you ever heard of something so queer? Of course not. It's not a woman's place to deliberate about current affairs or something. That's for the men of the house. Isn't that right, Junior?
Да, папа.
That's my guy. That's what's up. Well, I say we try it. Besides, I'll take any excuse to have another bowl of lucky curses. A different curse in every box. That's what gave wife her docile demeanor, Junior his frightening Soviet ideals, and me my painful collection of peptic ulcers. Honey, why don't you be a doll and pick us up a few more boxes right after you're finished breakfast? We're a cereal family now.
Папа, телевидение.
What?
When I say cereal, you say dinner. Cereal. Dinner! Cereal!
Cereal!
Ужин.
Cereal! Dinner! Cereal! Dinner! Cereal! Dinner! Cereal! Dinner! Cereal! Oh my god! This fucking guy, man. Hey, watch where you point that thing, you little commie bastard. You're laughing. You think I'm joking. You do that again, I'm calling the FBI.
Извини, я расслаблюсь, лол.
Cereal for dinner. Now there's a funny concept. If it hadn't actually happened. You see, in 2022, the Kellogg Company actually used this approach to try and push their cereal beyond the economic confines of the breakfast occasion. A tactic that backfired monumentally. Now, at face value, the idea of reimagining the hour at which we consume cereal isn't particularly offensive. I mean, come on, we've all been there. You're a bachelor on a budget, staring blankly at an overdrafted bank account, sitting crisscross applesauce in an unfurnished living room, eating private label Fruit Loops by the light of a tallow candle. We've all been there. The problem? That's not a good situation. That is a bad situation. Cereal for dinner is an activity that is performed to the tune of a very depressing string section, okay? It is generally an undesirable situation. But that's exactly what Kellogg's hoped to capitalize on. So what inspired this? What was it that compelled Kellogg's to try and take a big, greedy bite out of a meal category 8 hours outside of their jurisdiction? What were the factors that led them there? The conditions that originally made it succeed? And the 5 little televised minutes that brought it all crumbling down? Well, the answers to those questions begin where it arguably should have ended. Breakfast. Oh no. A barren wasteland. Hostile and desolate. A perfect metaphor for financial turmoil. But with Rocket Money, we can change that. Rocket Money is the personal finance app that allows you to manage subscriptions, lower bills, create a custom budget, and grow your savings all in one place. My favorite feature is their subscription management tool, which allows you to view and cancel a variety of your active subscriptions directly within the app. Rocket Money can even scan your monthly spending for potential savings and even negotiate the prices on some of your bills. Hey, he heard that. Yeah, he likes it. Hey, watch it! Sorry, sir. Sorry. So if you want to save more and spend less, join the over 5 million members using Rocket Money today. Go to rocketmoney.com/slow start or click the link in the description to get started for free. For decades, grocery stores throughout the West have reserved an entire aisle of their highly coveted shelf space for one single product. A product brimming with a wide assortment of flavors, grains, and all the artificial colors of the rainbow. But it didn't start like that. Originally, modern cereal was invented in the late 1800s as a part of a very fringe religious health movement, fueled by the belief that a bland, grain-based diet would save people from the mortal coils of alcoholism, masturbation, and IBS. It wasn't too popular. In fact, in its formative years, the product really just felt like a competition to see which God-fearing American Protestant could produce the blandest bowl of grains. That was until one of the Kellogg boys ditched the health nonsense and added some sugar. And you know what? It's not surprising he did. From a business perspective, cereal is kind of the perfect product. In fact, for emphasis, allow me to explain why through the eyes of a group of 13th century English peasants. All right, come on out. Gather around. That's right. All right, guys, check this out, okay? It's grains, okay? You guys know about that? I know you guys know about that, all right? Now listen, they're simple to make, they store easily, and they're always ready to eat. Huh? You just pour them in a bowl. Or a hollowed out piece of bread. All right, screw it. You guys aren't going to figure this out for another 600 years anyways. Have fun eating gruel. Okay, that was a bad example, but still. Because of its easy transport, low spoilage rates, and cheap cost of raw ingredients, cereal still stands today as one of the most profitable products in the food industry. But it was the addition of sugar that helped it go mainstream. Well, that and one of the most aggressive marketing campaigns in the history of advertising. I wish that was an exaggeration. But it's true. Thanks to the efforts of over 100 years of incessantly aggressive pandering, the Kellogg Company had managed to instill their product as the quintessential part of this nutritious breakfast. That's right. Goodbye, bacon and eggs. Hello, milk and navel orange. Whether you wanted to increase your vitamins, lower your cholesterol, or improve your what the fuck? Kellogg's was the perfect way to start your day. But eventually, these kinds of myriad health claims were starting to be challenged. By the turn of the millennia, consumers were becoming increasingly less convinced by Kellogg's nutrition factor and increasingly more concerned with things like preservatives, artificial coloring, and of course, sugar. Yet how could this be? I thought Rice Krispies helped build immunity. Well, turns out Kellogg's was engaged in the now all too common practice of health washing. You might be familiar. That's when a company takes a regular, everyday product and showers it with half-baked health claims and self-congratulatory stickers, all the while conveniently ignoring the fact that it's painted blue! Oh, and that Rice Krispies immunity claim? Well, Kellogg's ended up getting sued for that. And a whole bunch of other dubious health claims as well. In a way, the company had put themselves in a very peculiar position. Somehow, Kellogg's had to continue selling the gastronomic science experiments that had made their company popular, while simultaneously promoting the supposed health benefits they had boasted for decades. Take Kellogg's Fruit Loops, for example. Sure, the cereal is probably one ingredient away from glowing in the dark, but look! It has vitamins! Hell, to this day, the American product page still has the audacity to call it a healthy cereal.
I wonder where green Fruit Loops come from.
Me too, kid. Me too. I mean, think about it. No other junk food has managed to corner themselves like this. Look at Doritos. Doritos knows what it is. You don't see it trying to promote the calcium in its cheese. But they wouldn't let up. Kellogg's would even attempt to sponsor their own team of company-backed health experts to help them tout the benefits of a cereal-based breakfast. I guess you could say Kellogg's flaked their experts. Woo! But eventually, Kellogg's was busted for that too. And it was these kinds of shady health shenanigans that would slowly dismantle people's trust towards cereal, a factor that was starting to become quite a problem for Kellogg's. Turns out cereal sales were slipping, or they had been, for the last 20 years, actually. Whether it was an increase in health consciousness or just a general shift in consumer behavior, by the 2000s, the role of cereal as an undisputed breakfast staple was being called into question. This uncertainty surrounding cereal would eventually force Kellogg's to start diversifying their product line. And before they knew it, they were a snacking company. In fact, by 2023, Kellogg's had diverted so much of its attention to the snack industry that their cereal products were starting to hold them back. So how did they solve it? How did Kellogg's breathe life back into their flagship product? The product they founded and helped grow for over 100 years. Well, they ditched it. That's right, they cut off the hand! Kellogg's literally split the company into two separate entities just so they could pass the problem on to someone else. And that someone was a man named Gary. In 2023, a Mr. Gary Pilnick became CEO of Kellogg's North American cereal business, thus inheriting all of Kellogg's classic cereal brands and their burdens. But Gary remained optimistic. In the handful of televised appearances he's made, Gary has strongly dismissed claims about the shaky state of cereal in favor of a much more positive narrative. According to Gary, the cereal category is durable,
We have something for everybody.
poised for growth,
Nothing's going to get in our way.
and most importantly, healthy.
I think you should feel good about serving it to your kids.
But whether he wanted to admit it or not, Gary's true mission was to get cereal back on the menu. And he wasn't really concerned about which menu either. In 2022, Kellogg's launched a brand new ad campaign with a surprising new slogan. Give chicken the night off, they said. Have cereal instead. Now, as unappetizing as their suggestion might have been, it wasn't completely groundless. According to Kellogg's, surveys suggested that at least 25% of cereal was consumed outside of breakfast. And in the past, the company had even marketed some of their cereals as late-night snacks. But their new ad was different. You see, here, cereal isn't portrayed as a snack. It's the main course.
When I say cereal, you say dinner. Cereal. Dinner! Cereal.
Okay, so already we're off to a really bad start here, right? I mean, not only is the message already awful, but Tony here then insists on reinforcing the idea through some kind of creepy call and response technique. It's very hypnotic.
When I say cereal, you say dinner. Cereal. Dinner! Cereal. Dinner! Cereal. Dinner! Cereal. Dinner! Cereal.
Dinner. But that's not all that's weird. I also find it strange that Kellogg's chose to advertise some of their most unhealthy cereals as part of the ad. Why not try and save some face with an All Bran? Or a Kashi? My best guess is the company wanted to use tastier cereals to sell the idea as an occasional treat. Plus, that way they could bring out the mascots to try and make it fun for the whole family or whatever. Oh, and I almost forgot my personal favorite addition, the fruit. Who could forget the fruit? There's fruit on the dining table, fruit on the side table, fruit on the kitchen counter. That's right, even after over 70 years of shameless health washing, somehow Kellogg still thinks it can just shove a pear in the frame and call it a meal. Well, there you have it, folks. That 15-second spot was the Kellogg Company's first foray into family fine dining. And believe it or not, it was arguably a success. Even though the commercial's message felt absurd to the point of satire, Kellogg's managed to fly right under the radar with it for almost 2 whole years, even racking up over 100 million sponsored views on YouTube. By 2024, it was looking like Kellogg's had successfully found a way to beat the odds, break away from the breakfast table, and plant their flag onto whole new culinary territory. And it probably would have stayed like that if it weren't for Gary's little gift of the gab. Let me explain. You see, both of the Kellogg Company's spin-off brands are publicly traded companies, which means that every once in a while, their respective CEOs will hop on finance news to brag about their ROIs, their BEPs, and their BBCs. It's a way for the company to take a break from all the squeaky clean corporate posturing and just speak candidly to their investors. Maybe too candidly. You see, when Gary made his appearance in 2024, the American consumer was in a state of concern. For the last 4 years, inflation had driven up the cost of groceries to a whopping 30-year high, making it more difficult than ever for struggling families to put decent meals on the table. An issue that Gary was more than happy to tackle on network television.
Oh, Carl, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. We think about our consumer under pressure. The cereal category has always been quite affordable, and it tends to be a great destination when consumers are under pressure.
Consumers under pressure. That's a strange choice of words. It sounds a lot like one of those soft-pedaled corporate terms used to downplay the severity of a subject that has actual real-world consequences. I mean, why on earth would you say struggling families? Ew, that makes it feel too real. You can't justify cutthroat business decisions with that kind of language.
Some of the things that we're doing is first messaging. So we're advertising about cereal for dinner. If you think about the cost of cereal for a family versus what they might otherwise do, that's going to be much more affordable.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. You see, this is a pivotal moment, because right here is where Gary essentially confesses to the true intentions behind cereal for dinner. It turns out, Kellogg's campaign was never about shaking up the meal week. In actuality, it was a calculated and aggressive push to sell their cereal as a cheap meal replacement for inflation-stricken families. Surprise! People weren't giving chicken the night off to be quirky. They were doing it because it was fucking expensive. Now look, I know what you're thinking. Hey, YouTube boy, of course this was their plan. And yeah, you're right, but it wasn't until this very moment that Kellogg's ever stated their intentions so shamelessly. And why would they do that? It sounds terrible. Yet Gary's just yapping away like it's business as usual. Which it is. In fact, Gary couldn't be more casual about it if he tried. I mean, he's literally broadcasting from Boca Raton, Florida. And let me guess, that courtyard behind him is from some kind of 5-star hotel that he's just casually staying in. That's exactly what it is. Wow, okay. There you have it, folks. Gary is on network television casually bragging about feeding Fruit Loops to poor people, and he literally could not be chilling harder.
The idea of having cereal for dinner, is there the potential for that to land the wrong way?
We don't think so.
Okay. Oh my God. This moment right here. This moment is art. If you didn't catch it, let's watch it one more time.
Cereal for dinner, is there the potential for that to land the wrong way?
We don't think so.
Did you notice that? When the news reporter asks Gary his question, the latency of the video call makes it appear as though Gary's active listening face is him agreeing with the host that their commercial could in fact land the wrong way, thus perfectly foreshadowing the impending shitstorm to come that was directly caused by the video itself. Oh my God, save it, frame it, put it in the Louvre.
Cereal for dinner is something that is probably more on trend now, and we would expect to continue as that consumer is under pressure.
Aw, bring it home with a smile, Gary. I get it. I mean, nothing warms my heart more than the lucrative promise of perpetual financial turmoil. It really pulls on the heartstrings. In fact, Kellogg's loved it so much, they even launched their own contest. Originally announced on their Instagram, Kellogg's US, or as I like to call it, Kellogg's Sus. The cereal for dinner sweepstakes was an attempt to reward customers for trying the trend. Just take a picture of you and your lowly peasant family eating cereal for dinner, and you might win the thing you actually need. Well, that and more cereal, Jesus Christ. But the turnout was pretty good. My favorite entry is the one from a guy who attempted to Photoshop cereal in front of his kids to try and cheat, I guess? I don't know, it's very funny. But the jokes did not last. After Gary's very tone-deaf debacle on CNBC, well, people got mad. Within days, news outlets across the globe were outright panning Gary for his company's predatory marketing towards the middle class, with many people calling to boycott the company entirely. Even though the commercial was almost 2 years old, Gary's comments had brought a newfound attention to the company's ad campaign, and their other shady tactics as well. You see, while Kellogg's was proudly touting the financial benefits of cereal for dinner, they were also actively raising their prices and shrinking boxes, a tactic that consumers had quickly caught on to. For many, Gary's comments were just the final straw for a company that was already losing trust with its customers. And it also doesn't help that Gary, well, he kind of sucks. In his interview with CNBC, Mr. Pilnick's demeanor comes off as smug, smarmy, and generally untrustworthy. And after watching most of his public appearances, I don't really get the feeling that he has the concern for his customers at the forefront of his mission. I mean, no one from Kellogg's even addressed his comments. There was never any statement, no backpedaling, no carefully drafted apology. From what I can tell, the company just pulled the ad from YouTube and waited for the hate to blow over. Which it eventually did. Fast forward to today, and not much has really changed for Kellogg's. The company's still struggling to reclaim breakfast, they're still facing pretty consistent backlash, and Gary's probably still taking business calls from a Chase Lounge in Boca Raton. But one thing certainly has changed, and that's that Kellogg's has completely done away with cereal for dinner. Or at least pulled back the reins. If you go to the grocery store now, you might still see boxes that say things like, "Makes a great evening snack," which may or may not be paired with a bizarre suggestion to eat it at soccer practice. Or how about lunchtime? Or the afternoon? What's the difference? I don't know. Just eat it. Anytime. Please. Heck, sometimes you might just be lazy enough to actually have it for dinner. But regardless of the time you choose to consume cereal, there's one thing we should all remember. When it comes to the Kellogg Company, cereal for dinner wasn't a light-hearted suggestion. It was a desperate ploy from Kellogg's to leverage an economic crisis to try and break their product out of the breakfast category. A category they had been losing for over 20 years. As for what they'll try next, who knows? Maybe instead of focusing on greedy gimmicks, they could try working on healthier ingredients. But maybe I'm biased. We gotta remember, food companies are in the business of giving people what they want. For some, that might mean a colorful, artificially tasty treat. For others, it's something loaded with fiber. For Koreans, it's green onion flavored shreddies. Wow. Okay. Gross. But I think that's why it failed. With cereal for dinner, Kellogg's didn't give people what they wanted. They tried to give them what the company wanted. And that is not always the same thing. Oh hey, looks like we just finished the box. You know what that means, Junior?
Мы должны полагаться на государственные санкции и байки.
What? No. It means we get a curse. Ooh, I can't wait to see what I get. I don't feel any different. Junior, how do I look?
Как капиталистическая свинья.
Hold that thought, Junior. I think I feel something. Yup, something's happening. Something's happening. Something's happening. Okay, wow. Oh, it's another ulcer. Yeah, no, I'm 100%. Oh, I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest. Ooh, wow.